Welcome to another episode of JNA News Dash, where two full-time realtors become part-time newscasters, bringing you the real estate news of the week. So my name is Lucas from JNA Real Estate, and today we have Geraldine. And if you are watching this from overseas and you're interested to know the happenings of or what's happening in Singapore real estate, you've come to the right place. And we'll also be linking our Telegram channel right over here, where you can subscribe to our real estate updates, be it real estate related news, properties being sold, or even our partnership deals. And Christmas is coming up, so definitely we have a few deals coming up just for our community. Right, so moving on to the first news of the week.
Yes,
Geraldine.
we have a lot of exciting news this week. So another news related to the money laundering case that everyone has been following so closely is, OCBC is actually taking legal action to recover losses related to this money laundering case. So they are suing a suspect involved in this. His name is Su Paulin. So he's actually one of the 10 that was arrested in this case related. And they are suing him for 19.7 million. And also $220,000 worth of credit card debt.
Wow, okay. And it says here he was actually renting a good class bungalow at Nassim Road.
Yeah.
And it's actually now back in the market.
For $120,000 a month.
Wow, the prices.
Yeah. But they were saying that nowadays, after the money laundering case, it's not as easy to rent out properties of this price range above $100,000 a month. You don't really get a lot of inquiries anymore.
Yeah.
And also, owners are also more wary, after this incident of who they're actually renting out to. So in this situation here, Su Paulin, he actually got charged for money laundering and forgery. And why is OCBC actually suing him was because he bought this property in Sentosa Cove back in 2021 for this 2-story detached bungalow for around 1,800 square meters.
So is it the one at 39.33 million?
Yeah, so he actually bought this property from tycoon Lim Chin Huat in 2021. And then before his arrest, he had originally submitted plans to actually build a 2-story detached with swimming pool in Sentosa Cove along Ocean Drive.
Wow.
Yeah, and this property actually offers views of Marina Bay Sands and also unblocked sea views.
Wow, I can't wait for this one to be on the market again.
Yeah. Next up, we have this HDB owner whose property got seized because he was renting it out. He was renting out the entire property before he actually met his MOP. So let's elaborate more on what happened in this situation here. So this HDB owner, he actually bought this property back in 2018. And then just 1 month after, he engaged a property agent who was willing to help him rent out the entire unit despite knowing that the MOP was not met yet.
These kind of cases are not uncommon. I'm sure most of you viewers out there would probably know somebody who has tried or is trying to do this or even has considered doing this before. And of course, property owners have approached us to do similar things before, which we of course have rejected, right? And it's just not worth it lah. Yeah.
So how this happened was the owner actually bought the property in 2018, and then just 1 month after, because he knew that he was not going to stay there and he just wanted to use this as an investment, he engaged this property agent who told him that it's okay to rent it out as long as the government doesn't know. So how this happened was the agent actually marketed this as a room rental, even though he knew that he was going to rent out the entire unit. So this couple, who was a foreigner, wanted to rent the entire unit. But what was listed and stated on the tenancy agreement was that it's a room rental, but the agent told the tenant that they can use the entire house because no one is living there except them. So what happened was, after this tenancy agreement was signed, the agent actually filed for the stamp duty on behalf of the tenant to pay the stamp duty. So that was when the government was actually notified that this property for the rooms are being rented out. So the HDB actually informed the owner as a warning that, if you're not staying in the unit, you're not supposed to be renting it out because the MOP was not met yet.
Yeah.
You still have 4 more years to actually meet the MOP.
So there was a warning.
There was a reminder that you should be staying in the house if you want to rent out the rooms.
So did HDB give them chance or just immediately like this?
So HDB actually sent them a warning letter, And then days after, the HDB officers actually came down to do a check on whether or not the owner is staying in the house. But they found out that the owner was not staying in the house and only the tenants were there. So that was when the owners were getting charged and also the agent. So the agent is now suspended by CEA and he actually got fined $7,000. And the owner himself got his property seized and was also fined $45,000 for breaching this regulation.
And I bet there's not going to be any
no chance.
Any
no
refund
chance.
for the HDB?
No refund.
Probably not.
But yes, his property was seized. So this is why owners actually encouraged to check the relevant rules because sometimes maybe the agent that you're engaging may not know or may not be as familiar with the rules. So do your own due diligence as well because from 2018 to 2022, HDB caught 150 owners who were doing this.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. And even if your agent does know about it, but some of them are more flexible, right? Still don't do it lah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also be wary about such agents.
Yeah.
I would say.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because
Okay.
some of them will say like, HDB won't check one, right? Yeah, they will check.
Yeah. Next up, we have the government offering a one-off rebate for the increase in property tax next year to help soften the blow for property owners.
Ouch.
Ouch. So who are eligible for these rebates?
Yeah, so owner-occupiers, meaning you own the property and you live there, right? So they will receive a one-off property tax rebate in 2024. But if it's an investment property, then hard luck lah. Yeah. You won't get any rebate for
hard
that.
luck, you don't get anything. So owners who own investment properties, you actually don't get any rebate. Only owner-occupiers who are living in the property will get some rebates. So how much are these rebates, right? So owners of the small HDB flats, you will not have to pay any property tax with 100% rebate. Owners of 3, 4 and 5 room flats will be receiving rebates of about 30 to 70%, while owners who own private property will be receiving about 15%, but capped at $1,000.
Ah, okay. So for those of you who are wondering, how is property tax calculated? It's tied to the annual value of your property and the tax rate is progressive. So the higher your rental is, the more your tax is going to be.
Yeah, so we are seeing that since 2021 till date, the property rent price has been increasing for both private and public, which also means the annual value have also risen in tandem with this. So for those of you wondering, how much has the government been receiving from property tax?
Yeah.
So I was reading up, right, and we're seeing that in 2022, the government revenue from property tax collected was $5.1 billion.
Wow.
Which is only 7.4% of what they got in revenue, which is 9.1% higher than 2021 at $4.7 billion.
So Geraldine, what's the expected annual value increase in 2024?
In 2024, HDB owners are expected for their annual value to increase about 20 to 25%. And for private residential, it will increase for around 15 to 25%. And of course, for those who own high-end luxury properties, they're going to be the ones that's going to be hit the hardest. And they'll be the ones feeling the increase in the tax because of how the progressive tax rates are. But however, despite this, analysts do expect that residential demand will continue to be healthy and prices will not be dented. However, another thing to note is maybe this will actually potentially push buyers to afford a smaller home or something more affordable as they become more cost conscious.
Yes. And of course, as reported in the news last week, we are expecting a softening in the rental market, which yes, we are kind of experiencing that now towards the end of the year. But it's not going to soften by much. Analysts predict a 5% decrease in rents next year.
Yeah. Okay, next up, we have land parcels coming up in Tengah and Tampines for 2 executive condos.
Wow, okay. So executive condos are always like a hot topic for Singaporeans, right? It's like the ticket into a condo.
Yeah, because it's like a in between HDB and a condo with a really affordable pricing price compared to you buying a condo itself.
And once upon a time, executive condos always had that label of EC attached to it, so it could never really match the price of the condo.
Yeah.
But nowadays, what we see in the market is actually executive condos have also caught up to the private property market.
Yeah, exactly. Nowadays, honestly, as buyers, I'm not sure if they still see the difference between executive condos and condos, but facilities-wise, you get whatever facilities a condo can offer.
Yep.
The only difference is the regulation of holding a condo at with a HDB regulation.
Yeah, so your MOP, there's MOP period. Your financing is slightly different as well. Yeah.
So both this land have a 99 years of lease tenure, and they will be able to occupy about 560 residential units each. So where are these located at? One is actually, the first one is in Plantation Close in Tengah, with Tengah Park MRT just right opposite, that will be ready in 5 years' time in 2028.
Wow, that's convenient. Actually, you do know very few ECs actually really next to MRT.
Yeah, they're most of them are just nearby. Like an LRT station, or they're nearby at the bus stop, but it's very rare that it's actually directly walking distance to an MRT station.
Yes. So which MRT line is this on?
So this is going to be the Jurong Region line serving the west side of Singapore.
So that's the one that can take them to like Gem Shopping Mall, Jurong Point, even Choa Chu Kang and Bukit Panjang.
Yeah, that's right.
So that's very convenient.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So the tender exercise I see here, it'll be closing on 12 p.m. on the 1st of February 2024. Yeah, so it's like a little after Chinese New Year.
Yeah, it's actually the same as the Orchard Boulevard site that we mentioned about 1 month ago.
Yeah.
That's going to be launched as well, right beside Orchard Boulevard MRT station.
So how about the second site at Tampines?
So the second site, land size is also about the same as the Tengah site at around 22,000 square meter, but this one is still on the reserve site. So what this means is it will only be put up if there is any developer that is able to meet the price of the government.
Okay, so it's actually very interesting because Tengah is on the confirmed list and then Tampines is on the reserve list. But I'm pretty sure that Tampines will receive a good offer because it's a very densely populated area. I'm sure a lot of people want to move.
And there's always high demand for that area, especially for a lot of young people nowadays whose parents are already living in Tampines and they also want to live in Tampines with not many options for ECs now.
Yes.
Newer ECs now.
Yes,
Tampines.
And definitely has been a lot of development in the Tampines area for more family-oriented activities. Yeah. All right, so for the last news of the week, what do we have?
So we have Chinatown along Smith Street being put up for tender to find a master tenant who's able to rejuvenate the vibrancy of this area.
Okay. Yeah, so definitely Chinatown has lost some of its vibe since the pre-COVID days till now, right? So definitely there's still life around the area, but most of the shops there are like, I've seen a lot of new pop-ups for food stores and things like that. Yeah. So most likely the government wants to bring back like more culture, some
art galleries.
Yes, more art galleries, architectural tours.
Some history of the area as it is.
So the term master tenant is a bit deceptive, right? Because they're not just a tenant, but they're really there to manage and maintain the whole space, making sure there's programming involved to really align it towards the government's direction.
Yeah, and also to make sure that it's actually reasonable in terms of financial investment. And also, what this project aims to do is to actually bring back that vibrancy that we had before the pre-COVID days. So
definitely is to bring back a regular community of locals and tourists, right? Through programming and through tailored, curated shops that's tailored towards our needs.
Yeah. Okay, so that's the real estate news for this week. We have some really exciting news for the next few weeks of December because we saw that the Fed has just released the news just yesterday that they will be cutting rates 5 times next year.
5 times. Wow. Yeah. That's great news for everybody.
So this one will actually be diving deeper with the investments team. So do check out our video by end of this month.
Yes. All right. So that's it for us this week. This is Lucas.
This is Geraldine.
See you next week.
Bye.